Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? My name is Kyle, you know me as Dragonmar, and welcome to a new video. Today, we're going to be going over how to improve your aim with better crosshair placement. Yes, that's right, this is a Valorant aim guide, my very first one, probably not the last though. So, with that being said, let's jump into the video. But before we do that, guys, remember, hit that subscribe button. So many new viewers, so many new subscribers, so thank you so much, and let's get started. Now, you're probably wondering what's in this video. Well, first things first, we are going to be covering two pieces of advice I like to give to people to find the right sensitivity. It's very important you find the sensitivity that works for you. I just want to give you two little tips, very quick, nothing too big there. Second, we're going to be talking about what crosshair placement is, right? Why is it so important? We're going to be going over that, don't worry. And third, I'm going to give you guys everything you need to know about crosshair placement, how to use it during a match, giving you guys examples. I want to show you how it gives you the advantage and why it's so important. After that, I'm going to show you one drill I like to use to warm up with to practice my crosshair placement, to sort of improve that crispness as well. And hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started. So you're probably wondering, how do I know if my sensitivity is right for me? Well, you'll never be at your best until you do find the sensitivity that works for you. Remember, no one can tell you until you try yourself, because your sensitivity depends on a few things. First, your mousepad size, the type of mouse, and then also your aiming preference, whether you use your arm or your wrist more to aim. So personally for me, guys, I play at 1000 DPI, 0.285 in-game sensitivity. But I do have two tips for you here. These tips are just general tips that I've used to help me find the right sensitivity for me in different games. First, if I'm ever undershooting targets, it's a good time for me to raise my sensitivity, and vice versa. If I'm ever overshooting targets, it means I need to lower my sensitivity. That's a simple one. Now, this next one is what I've used in Overwatch and in Counter-Strike to really help me figure out what sensitivity I need to be able to play at the level that I play at. And what I do is I make sure with one swipe of my mouse that I can do a full 180-degree turn. So that means that if no matter what game I'm in, my sensitivity has to be high enough so that with one swipe of my mouse across my mouse pad, I'm able to do a 180. And that is what has worked for me super well across all games, particularly FPSs, obviously. What is crosshair placement? So I think you can easily define crosshair placement as the location of your crosshair at any given point during a match. And whether that is good or bad, crosshair placement is normally determined by how far you have to move your crosshair / mouse to adjust to the enemies that appear. So the distance that your crosshair travels is what makes your crosshair placement either good or bad. Now, one thing you should remember is that there are situations where you have to make these tough choices between holding one angle and holding another, and there could be enemies for equal chances at either one. Those are very nuanced situations. There's normally nothing wrong with your crosshair placement in those. You're just making a decision. But oh my gosh, there are so many VODs that I've reviewed where people are just aiming at nothing. And I mean nothing. When people can appear from like 3 different angles, I don't understand it. That is who I'm making this video for, and that's why crosshair placement is so important. Why is crosshair placement so important, right? Why is this such a huge part of aiming? Why is this, in my opinion, the most important part of aiming and of improving your aim? This is by far, guys, if you're looking to improve your aim, you've come to the right place. This is the one thing that if you get right, you are going to be going into games and doubling your kills. For some of you, depending on what you're going into this as. It's so important, because crosshair placement allows you to focus all of your energy on timing your shots rather than aiming your crosshair. So this is such inexplicably high value. It's so hard to describe how important this is, particularly when you get to the higher ranks, when the enemies are going to be the ones headshotting you as well. That's why headshots are so important. So for most players, right, the head is where people want to aim, and they know that, which is great. But for most players, their crosshair placement is almost never on the head when an enemy appears. Where is it? You guessed it, it's on the body. Why? Because that's just where they're aiming. That's where their crosshairs tend to go, lower. They no longer can just pull the trigger and shoot and get the headshot when someone appears. Instead, they have to adjust their crosshair placement to someone's head and then shoot. What's that take? It takes time. Time, very important in FPSs like Valorant. When you could die in a blink of an eye, you need all the time you can get. Now, what if that player had their crosshair at head level that entire time? The enemy appears, guess what? They just click the mouse, right? Just click forehead. That's all they have to do. But guess what? They don't do that. They're aiming at the body. They have to drag that mouse up to get it up to the head and hope they haven't shot already to mess with their recoil control, right? So the very simple way to think about this is bad crosshair placement is going to require you to do the following. Let's say you're moving around the map. Target comes up, you have to adjust to aim at their head, and then you shoot. Good crosshair placement, you're moving around the map, target appears, your crosshair is already where you know they're going to come from or where you think they're going to come from. In a lot of situations, there's only going to be one spot where an enemy can appear because you should be positioning yourself in such a way where that is what happens. And guess what? Your crosshair is already in the right spot, so you just shoot and you get a headshot. That is the difference between good and bad crosshair placement. It determines how much extra effort needs to go into getting you these kills and how much more time it's going to take you to land the headshots and to land the kill shots. A lot of people are confusing bad aim with bad crosshair placement. A lot of people have great recoil control, have super good flicks, but they are not good with their crosshair placement, and it really, really weighs them down. It is by far, in my opinion, the most important part of improving your aim overall in Valorant. And guys, before we get into the gameplay of me actually walking you through some clears I do with crosshair placement, I want to say that there are two ways in which your crosshair placement will sort of automatically get better. One of those is with increasing your map knowledge, because what increasing your map knowledge does is it actually allows you the sort of knowledge in your brain when you go into these maps to know exactly where enemies are going to be. You need to actually know the common spots in order to have the correct crosshair placement. This way you can decide what the likelihood of an enemy being in a certain area is, and you could put your crosshair in the right spot to match that. So map knowledge is super important, and it's why I always stress to walk through these maps a few times before you play. Make sure you understand all the nooks and crannies, all the corners, because people will hide in them. And then second, crosshair placement just improves over time. As part of map knowledge, there is a way to specifically target it, but over time, just by playing the game, particularly ranked, by the way, you're going to really get to know how and where you need to aim. I think ranked in general is where you're going to start learning the likelihood of where people are going to be, while in unrated, you find people sort of in really random spots. Ranked is a great spot, a great place to actually get that experience of exactly where people play at your level, so you know where to look. But with that being said, let's jump into some gameplay. What better way to talk about crosshair placement than to actually show you guys how I do it and what I think makes my crosshair placement above average to very good in some situations. There are times when I get caught off guard and I know I should have played better, but hey, that's part of improving. So I want to show you guys what crosshair placement looks like in my games for me. Now, Haven, one of my favorite maps, I want to show you what it looks like when I go and try to take alt mid over here towards garage if I'm attacking. So first things first, the barrier starts here. So what I want to do as soon as I get around this corner, crosshair head level. So remember, it's going to take you time to learn this stuff, but if an enemy peeks around this corner, see how their head is roughly where this is? That's exactly where I want my crosshair to be. I know there's not going to be an enemy right here or down here before the match even starts, right? They're back behind their barriers. So why am I going to aim there? This is the only spot an enemy can be, and this is exactly where I want my crosshair to be. So the match starts and I make my way up. I like to play around this box and keep my crosshair placed here. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to safely clear garage while not getting killed by someone who pushes middle. If I have a teammate who goes window, great. If not, I can do this on my own. So what I want to do in this case is I either want to push up here and quickly peek this corner, or I want to jump on top of this box, get this angle, make sure no one's coming. As you can see, when I turn this corner, my crosshair is against this wall here, this corner here, because I think in most situations, an enemy's going to be atop these steps. If they are, their head's going to be about here. That's exactly where I want to aim. So as you can see, I'm clearing this angle. If I go out wide like this, I'm going to start high and start bringing my crosshair down as I go. Start high, down as I go to match the steps. I have no idea what part of the steps they're going to be on. If they're over here, it needs to be up here. But if they're close, it needs to be like right here. So you have to choose where you put your crosshair. But either way, I'm playing for where I think the enemy is going to be. So now that I've cleared mid, I can focus on clearing garage. What I like to do is I like to clear lower first. I find that people in window have a very hard time headshotting me, so I actually like, in some cases, unless in previous rounds someone has been playing inside of window, I like to peek at head level for garage. So what I'll do is I'll clear this like this, keep my crosshair nice and even as I go across, headshot level the entire time. Someone peeks this angle, they're dead, I promise you. Come around this corner here. People like to play over in this corner here, but they put the little thing there, really helps me out. No one's there. Okay, now another example. If I come back here, this time people have been playing window every round. I want to peek window. What am I going to do? Headshot level as I peek window the entire time. Headshot level never changes. Okay? I know in my head someone could be here on the ground. In that case, I'll adjust. But I'm making a calculated decision here that I need to aim into window because that's where I think someone's going to be, and the entire time is at headshot level. Alright, so now we're up close and personal with Garage. Let's pretend this is an entirely different round. How am I going to clear this? First things first. Crosshair, head level. Look where I'm holding my crosshair this entire time. I'm going to peek this corner. No one there. I'm going to start making my way in. First thing I need to worry about is garage window, excuse me. So when I turn this corner, I want to make sure I'm clearing here and then clearing over here. As I clear this out, I know that the second I expose myself, there could be someone right here. So what I want to do is I want to clear, and then immediately bring my crosshair down to cover this sort of hallway here over towards C site. After I do that, I still haven't cleared this spot yet, but they can't peek me from this angle. So what I want to do is I want to come wide and I want to swing on the guy in this corner. The entire time I'm keeping my crosshair at head level. Let me show you how this looks just in one quick play. I'm going to come around the corner. Just like that. Not perfect, but that's what you have to do. You have to do the best you can. Your crosshair isn't always going to be pixel perfect, but that's exactly how you clear angles like this. You start making your way up. Guy could be over here, so you want to clear crosshair at head level. Turn the corner. Crosshair still at head level. Guy could be over here. I'm going to clear left. Didn't see anyone. Now, plat. I'm going to look on top of plat. No one. Bring my crosshair down for a guy playing sight or playing on the corner of the box here. Nobody. I'm turning. All right, I've just cleared. Someone could be on top of logs. Immediately crosshair up to where their head's going to be. Back sight, back plat. As you can see, the entire time, guys, my crosshair is at head level. That's how you have to do this, okay? Do not be turning these corners. Like if I turn this corner and I'm aiming like this, what am I aiming at? Like who's down here? You know what I mean? When you turn this corner, you want to be up here or you want to be over here first, then swing, then keep turning. Headshot level the entire time. Turn this corner. Headshot level. Before I go, I'm going to clear this angle. Maybe someone's CT rotating. The entire time, I'm at headshot level. I'm never, ever, ever leaving that. And guys, I think that's going to do it. If you walk yourself through these maps, you learn the maps, and you focus on map knowledge, I think you're really, really, really going to have a very good chance of greatly improving your aim. It's really important to understand where to put your crosshair at all times. And I think that by going through this and by constantly trying to improve and thinking of what you can do better, you're going to keep this in the forefront of your mind. You're like, all right, I got to make sure my crosshair placement was good. You're going to look back at tons of deaths you had and realize, oh, if I would have just had better crosshair placement to start that fight, I would have won it. And that's exactly what you need to be doing. That's exactly how you improve it. That's exactly how you get better at the game. With that being said, though, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all the support recently. It's been wonderful to see. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Take it easy and peace.